Hey everybody, welcome back to the Common Sense Dad. All right, so today we are upstairs in our 8x16 closet that we put in as a part of the office renovation above the master bathroom. And you'll see that there is mud on all of these walls that has been scraped and slightly sanded. And this is all pre-fill. And this entire area needed to be pre-filled. So the only thing that's been taped is this joint up here, which is that 35-degree angle tape, and I'll link to the video in that video. But so what we're doing today is we're going to tape and bed this whole thing. So, and I'm going to go through each one. I'm going to try and be as thorough as possible to show you the right way to tape and bed when you have an area that's been pre-filled. So let's get to it. All right, so we're going to start with the tools that we're going to need. So the first thing we need is a 6-inch taping knife. Now, I carry two, and I use one of them, this one in particular, for scraping, right? So that whole closet in there is pre-filled. So I'll use this to scrape the walls, scrape the edges, get any of the extra stuff sitting on the on where I know the joints are going to be. All right, so for taping, I use 3 different blades. So I use a 3-inch blade, and I use this for the tight corners. I use my standard 6-inch. This is what I use to primarily apply the mud and to tape. And then I also use an 8-inch blade. Now, I like the 8-inch blade just as much as the 6. This is a little bit more flex in it and gives you a little bit wider coverage, particularly when I'm dealing with some of the longer seams. So anything over, pretty much over 6 feet, I'll use. So full board, I'll use this, all right? And on ceilings, I like to use the 8-inch. They're about the same. The 8-inch just gives you a little bit more coverage. And then I have a standard 14-inch pan. And I actually used to have the square ones. This one has a little bit of rounded edge in the bottom. Something new I've noticed. Started using this. I actually like this one a little bit better. All right, and then of course I need my standard tape, and I always carry my utility knife and my paper tape. Okay, now the type of mud that we're going to use is what we want to cover next. All right, so really I'm just using straight joint compound. All right, so then what I'll do is I always bring my drill and my mixer. All right, and I'll use that to mix up the mud. So one of the ways that you're going to ensure that your tape lines aren't going to blister and pop and put bubbles in it is the moisture content inside of the joint compound or the mud. So the more moisture, the less likely it is that it's going to blister, right? So that paper tape adheres to a thick mud base. So that's the key thing that you'll see as I go through this is you really want to have a thick mud base and you want to make sure it's nice and moist. Now, you don't want to mix it to where like you're applying a texture. So you don't want it to be the consistency of like a pancake batter. You want it to be a little bit thicker than that. But you just want to add a little bit of water. You just don't want to, open the bucket up and start mudding the walls. You want to add a little bit of water and mix it before you start applying. Okay, so what I like to do is start with my verticals, and I will place my tape right to the joint where it meets on the horizontals. Don't want to go over that, don't really want to go under it. All right, I think it's useful to demonstrate how I tape. All right, so if I have a vertical seam, let's say right here, when I lay my tape, I'm not going to tape it like here so that the regular tape line can go under there. I'm going to tape this right up to where the seam is. And the reason for that is that when I always do my verticals first, so that when I apply my horizontals, which are usually much longer seams and longer tape runs, I'm covering that seam, okay? So this way, this gets buried, okay? Now, when it comes to the corner, I always do my corners last, my 90s, right? And so I'll run this all the way over, and then I'll put this on top like that. So it covers all the seams, okay? And the reason for that is, it's just that way there's no, if you hit this a little bit too hard, this doesn't bunch up underneath there. It's just much cleaner, and it provides a much stronger bond. And what I like to do is use an 8-inch taping knife to apply my mud. So let's go ahead and get that started. So we'll kind of just go over it nice and thick to start. The thicker the better, kinda. Not really, but just we want to make sure we have a decently sized coat on there. Put a little bit more up top here. All right. And the reason for that is we want as much moisture as possible in there so that when we apply our tape, we know it's going to adhere. So there's my tape line. Okay. Slightly crooked, sorry about that. All right, so now the big thing, okay? Always want to start from the middle, okay? And what I'll do is I'll go on one side, push up, then the other side, push up. Now, the reason for that is we want to be able to spread the mud as evenly as possible. So it doesn't make any sense for me to start down here and come up, because all I'm going to do is pull that paper tape. So I'm going to start where I was here, go down on one side, now go down on the other side. Once I've got that pushed in, now I can come from the bottom and go all the way up. Okay, so you see how I'm just lightly, not really putting a lot of pressure on it. There you go. Gives us some great clear tape line. Okay, so now we're going to hit this second vertical, and we'll go ahead and get it nice and muddy. So again, nice and thick. We want to get as much mud on there as possible without being ridiculous, obviously, but because we need moisture. And it's moisture that actually is going to hold that tape in. It's not how hard you press it down. It's not anything like that. It's all comes down to the moisture content. All right. So just FYI, I have pre-cut, so to speak, these pieces. So we'll put that one in. Okay, that looks good. Now, on this one, since it's up top, I'm going to start in the middle and work my way down first. Okay? So I do the left side first. Now the right side, and you'll see how it shows where it's not actually being hit that well in the middle. And that's okay, because what we're going to do now is go up. Okay, that's about as high as I can go with this knife. So what I'm going to quickly do here is grab my 6-inch, and then I will very gently hit it from the top there, come down. Same thing on that side. Now I'm going to switch back to my 8 and go down the middle. There we go. 2 lines real quick. All right, next thing we want to do is we want to hit this long horizontal line. Okay, and that's before I hit the corners, because what I really want is my corners are going to where there's going to be the thickest amount of mud. So I want that corner piece to cover my other joint on the horizontal. All right, so let's start mudding this horizontal one. This is about, I don't know, 14, 15 feet or so. So when I'm doing horizontals like this, I like using my 8-inch because it gives you a pretty wide bit to choose from, or a wide enough mud base to choose from, or to have. Okay, now let's put up our piece of tape. All right, so again, I have pre-cut these pieces of tape. So we'll start with this guy here. And I'm just gently applying pressure as I move it along. Okay. Now, once that's in, we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna start from about the middle, and I'm gonna start on the bottom side this time. I'm gonna push it over. Where did I start? About here, I guess. Okay. All right, now I'm gonna come back this way. Okay, so you see here in the corner. There we go. Okay, now I'm not going to do this corner quite yet because, let me turn the camera around here, because I got another line, okay? So let's go ahead and hit that line, and then we will go ahead and take care of that corner. All right, so let's get our mud working here. There's an awful lot of pre-fill on this one. That's okay. I mean, this is the reason we do it, right? To make sure that you get a nice, tight, strong bond. Particularly in a smaller area like this. That's also, this is the roof pitch right above me. So it is 2x6 framed. So it's only got R19 insulation in there. And so this room will get pretty hot in the summer. Not super hot, but anyway. All right. So we'll lay our tape there, and we'll lay it here. All right, and then again, gently pushing it in from the outside in, or sorry, from the inside out. All right, so we're gonna start halfway right here. Now coming back into the corner. Okay. Top. Down on bottom. Top going over. There we go. Tape line done. All right, let's get this corner set up. All right, now let's go into this corner. All right, so I've already pre-cut my tape. And because I know that this corner is a little bit tight, I'm switching to my 6-inch blade. And we use the 6-inch to apply the mud. And then we can probably convert that back to the 8-inch. Okay, applying it semi-thick when going over the tape line. Again, the key thing is I want to make sure that corner has plenty of mud. So let's turn the corner here and come up. All right. Now you see that top corner up here. That is going to be a little bit trickier on how we get into there, but we'll cover that here in just a second. I want to make sure we have a good coat going up the wall. A little dry there. All right. Okay, so on this piece, we're going to apply it like that. And then in order to get up in there, I'm going to have to grab my 3-inch blade and apply the top there. All right. Now, on areas that you can't hit, I'll show you a little trick I learned a long time ago. Let's get our tape folded, ready to go. All right, so that top right, I'm not going to be able to hit. I'm not going to be able to get mud in there. So first thing I'm going to do here is just trim my tape. Make sure my tape reflects that angle. And then I'm just going to apply a little bit of mud to the back of that tape line where I know I'm going to hit that. Okay? Voila. Beautiful. Okay. Pinch the tape all the way into the corner. All right, pretty good so far. All right, I'm going to start from right below the tape line. Pinch that into place. Okay. Now, unfortunately, I can't go up on this, so I'm going to gently start at the top, then begin to apply more pressure as I come down. Okay, there we go. We'll get that side cleaned up here in just a minute. All right, so this one here, I'm gonna start about midway. All right, now I know I'm not gonna be able to hit that top piece without changing to my 3-inch. So that's what I'm going to do. Okay, and then unfortunately, gonna hit it like that. Okay, so now I'm gonna switch back to my 8-inch. Sorry for all the excess noise. I'm switching to my 8 so I can get the full breadth and scope, and I can get it clean. There we go. Okay, we got a little bit of blistering here. I think this has more to do. There we go. Not being able to hit that fully consistent. Okay. Yeah, that looks good. All right. While we're over here, let's go ahead and take care of these screws. All right, so right now I'm doing this patch, or this part of the wall coming down. So right now I'm just making sure I apply a thick coat of mud. Okay, guys, just making sure that mud is nice and thick. You really need it thick in that corner. More moisture, the better. All right, I'm gonna start applying it over here. And meet myself about there. All right, so let's get our tape. Alrighty. I'm a little short. That's all right, we can come back and add that. All right. So, same thing, start from the middle. Push that mud out. Okay, now, I got the same issue over here. So up in this corner, I can't start going up. So I have to start coming down. So I have to blend. And that's only due to the way that this corner is laid out. Or the angle, I just can't get a blade in there. Okay. So we do have a little bit of blistering there. All right, now I'm going to switch over back to the 8-inch, but I'm also going to bring my 3-inch because I got to make sure I can hit that up there. All right, so let's get that 3-inch up in there. Nice thing about these smaller blades sometimes is they can get in spots where you normally can't. Just makes your job a little bit more of a pain in the you know what. All right. Yeah, that's gonna work. All right, so we gotta fix that little spot down there. We're a little bit short. So grab the 6-inch blade. All right, so now we're gonna hit this little 2-foot wall here. We do this tape line here in the middle, and then do the corner. Again, making sure that we apply copious amounts of mud. Wet mud. Because anything that's dry is what's going to give us blisters, air bubbles. All right, so start from the middle, work our way down. One. Let's go get this corner. Alrighty. Okay. All right, now in these corners, a little bit more tricky. So we'll start about 3/4 of the way up and do the best we can on the bottom here. It's hard to get that corner, but we got it. All right, so a little bit of paper loss there. Just want to make sure we get that covered. All right, and while we're here, we'll go ahead and take care of a lot of these screws. Now what we want to do is hit this line up here. So this has got a bunch of pre-fill in it. I'm going to get this scraped out.
to switch to the 8-inch blade for this. But I believe it's ready. There you are. Okay. All right. Nice and thick going across. Making sure we keep it thick. You can definitely see even with the thick coat, you can see why we did pre-fill on this one. It was pretty bad. You know, the thing with pre-fill is you should never be ashamed of using it. Doesn't matter if you weren't able to get the drywall in square, or you messed something up, you know, you cut something wrong, you ran out of drywall and you only had one piece that was pretty beat up, that was work. Don't be ashamed of using it. I mean, if you got to use, obviously you want to avoid, right? Simple mistakes, but if you have to use pre-fill, do it. It's absolutely worth every bit. I don't like how that fit. All right, it's a little out there. But yeah, just the beauty of it too is it can help hide any imperfections in the mud, in the drywall, anything. Don't ever be ashamed to use it. It's good that you use it. All right, we're gonna start from here, come back this way on the bottom. Up on the top. All right, that looks great. Oh. All right, this piece of tape here thinks he's a comedian. All right, that looks really good. All right, let's get this one hit here while we're here. All right, so I made a mistake. I just realized I made the mistake too. I actually put this tape line in before I put this vertical one in. So I'm gonna have to cut this tape line almost perfect. That's all right. We'll get it fixed. All right. So there we go. My fault. All right, so this one we're gonna start on the right, go up. All right. All right, so I just want to make really clear what the mistake that I made. The mistake that I made is I should have put this piece of tape in first, and it should have gone to about right here, and then this piece of tape should have gone on over it. You know, I screwed up. So it is what it is. So we just keep on going here. Good news is we can still salvage it on this last piece up top. So there's one more horizontal piece after this. We're finishing all the verticals here right now. All right, so let's get that piece in. Okay. All right, that one's in. All right, let's see if we need to move the camera here. All right, so we got one last tape line, which is this one here. And this runs all the way down. So, actually, I just noticed one other. We gotta put a tape line here real quick. And then we'll run the big one. There. Okay. I'm gonna have to do this one a little bit differently because it's up against that 35-degree angle ceiling, or 33 and a half, or 37, or whatever it actually is. So. So now let's get our mud and start tracing it. Start filling it, sorry. I'm over here. I think we're gonna run out of mud. Matter of fact, I guarantee you we're gonna run out of mud. Do a quick refill here. Alrighty. All right. Alrighty. All right. I'm a little worried here. We might run out of tape. Yep. Jeez. All right, so I gotta go downstairs and get another roll of tape, but before I do that, we're gonna go ahead and get this guy on. So we'll start about here on this side and push out. All right, now we'll go up top. All right, I gotta go get more tape. More tape. All right. All right, because I'm gonna have to do a slight bit of overlap, I'm gonna put the slightest little amount of tape on the edge of this joint. And just make sure that is all nice and wet. Okay. Okay. All right, this time around, we're gonna start from here. You push back in towards the middle. Okay, and now this way. Okay, now on top. All right, that's a little ugly. But it's not ugly anymore. All right. Very good. Just a little bit of divot there. There we go. All right. So now what we're gonna do is just fill all these nail holes, and then we'll take care of this side, and then we are finished. All right, we're down to our last tape line. So good stuff. All right. So we've got this guy here going all the way down. So I left this one on purpose because we'll have a nice tape line to attach everything over. All right, so this one I did not make a mistake on, thank God. And then I think what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna skim coat this entire wall. I may wait until this is dry because this was a tape line we did earlier. So let's go ahead and get this thing filled up. I need help, man. Nice film. Good news, Brendan. La, da, da, da. All right. All right, let's get this guy. All right. Damn it. I'm like 1 scoop short. Isn't that the worst? Son of a... All right, make sure that that is nice and thick. All right, now get our tape line. We'll start down here in the corner. Oh, damn it, I did it again. Man, I am just not having a really good day at measuring my drywall tape. It's all right. Life goes on for the pimps and the johns, you know? But I'm just a humble street lamp. So here we go. There we go. That actually turned out great. So did that. There's always a way of being repaid, you know, for the mistakes that we make. All right. Got a little bit of a blister here. Let's see if we can push this guy out and see what the problem is. Okay, so it's right around the other tape line. So it looks like we got it. We got one here. I think it's just because I can't get my arm in there tightly. That looks good. That looks good. All right, throw a little bit of extra mud up here. A little bit of mud down that tape line. All right, I know this one shouldn't be too hard to measure. All right. All right. Take just a hair off of that guy. All right. Let's see. Perfect. That looks pretty good as well. Got a little sliver up in here. There we go. Oh boy. All right, the final tape line. All right, so this is one of the more difficult tape lines to do. And really, on an angle like this, I should use a metal tape, but I'm not. I'm going to do this freehand with the paper tape. So we should use angled corner bead for this with well, not angle according to me, but they make tape that has the metal interior. And we should use that for this 135-degree angle, but I don't have any. And to be honest with you, I don't feel like going to the hardware store to get any. So we're going to do this with paper tape. And I'm going to show you how to do this as carefully as possible. So while you're putting this in, you really want to make sure that you get that joint covered as perfectly as you can. Okay? And now, we'll start about the middle here. Oh, this is killing my back. Alright. We're going this way. Alright, that actually looks pretty good. Alright, so I'm going to start about here, and I'm going to push out towards this corner. I'm going to try and hold the blade as steady as I possibly can. So the thing you got to be careful with when you're doing an angle like this is you don't want to be too close to that, your blade too close into that corner, because you will push mud back down towards the 90-degree angle wall. So this is not something that you rush at all. This is something you take your time on to make sure that you get it nice. And again, we're not applying too much pressure, we're applying just enough pressure to make sure that we're getting the tape line. Okay. So this is about 2 feet off the ground, which is why I'm on my back doing this. Okay, so same thing here. I don't really have a good angle at getting into that corner. I'm working from the middle towards that corner. So I'm starting in the corner on this side. Just doing it nice and light for now. Okay, it's actually working out just fine. I'll do one last pass here. And each time I go past, I'm applying slightly bit more pressure. Beautiful. All right, that looks great. All right, and it looks like I missed these earlier. happen, but it happened. And then just these last two. All right. There you go. That actually looks pretty darn good. All right. So that's it for today, guys. Taping in bed this whole closet. Do our skim coat tomorrow. And I'm not even sure I'm going to sand this in here. I might just mix my mud a little bit thinner for tomorrow, skim coat, and just throw up like a cheap texture in here because I mean, this is just going to be storage. So very good. Thanks for watching. See you soon.